fundamentals of education on how to apply, how to get into school. You saw our other ones, hopefully, and if not, go back and look at them. Today we have credential evaluations, and you're going to go, what is that? But it's a critical part of applying to school. And we've got on today, we have the Foundations for International Services, and I'm very excited to introduce Seth, and he is the senior analyst, right?
Yep, assistant director, senior analyst.
Okay, cool. And then we have Jeanette Turner, and you are?
Hi, I'm strategic accounts manager at FIS.
Cool, very cool. What I think it's really critical, and I'm just going to say a little blurb about it, because credential evaluation is, my experience is, I worked in admissions before, and I saw it's much easier if you have your transcripts from even high school or as a grad, if you're applying to grad school, to have that ready and to have it evaluated, so that when you're applying, you send it in and it's smoother, just, applying, and then they can evaluate it and say, oh yeah, you're ready to go, your grades are good, you meet the qualifications. So I just wanted to share that with you because I think it's super important, and we wanted to share with you about how it's going to happen, why, and all the when to do it and all that. So we have a couple slides, and so Jeanette, I'm going to just, have you start talking and go ahead and get us started. Thank you.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Mim. We're so honored to be here with you and your global students. And this is to help you look for and find opportunity. And the best way to do that is, as Mim said, make sure to have your degree and your transcript evaluated so you know what it means in the US. And that's what we do. We've been in business since 1978, a long time. We know what we're doing. We have databases for all around the world, and we can evaluate your education. We're charter members of NACES, and I'll tell you more about that as we go along. But you want to look for that. That's a key ingredient, the key thing that you want to look for when you pick an evaluation service. And that's why we're so good. We've been charter members since the beginning. And we help thousands of people every year. We've helped people who run the biggest corporations that you've heard of come to the US, create those unicorn businesses, get the education, and hire people. And so we want to do the same thing for you, give you that opportunity. So I'm going to introduce our senior analyst that you've just met. His name is Seth, and he will tell you a little bit about what he looks for in a credential, what he's evaluating, and what it's going to mean when it is looked at by our service. So we'll look at the next slide here.
So this is a document by document report. Generally what we're looking for like college level studies, we're looking at the accreditation of the school. We're looking at entrance requirements, those kind of things. We've got a pretty wide array of resources that we can use. For the more modern credentials, we obviously will use like Ministry of Education websites, things like that. But so this is the document by document. Basically, that's just sort of an overview of your credentials. We kind of go just sort of credential by credential. And so it's more of an overview. It's less of a in-depth kind of credential evaluation. We can also add a GPA to this. That's usually used more for like high school level students trying to enter a university in the US. This is a course by course evaluation. This is often used for people trying to enter graduate studies in the US because they like to see each individual course, the grades, the credits. This is pretty much the same as a document by document. It's just much more detailed.
Right. So you can see on the document by document sample that we had on the previous slide, that one was from Malaysia, and it was for a Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Engineering. And we evaluated that to a bachelor's degree in computer engineering in the US. So this person could obtain more education or obtain a job or a visa, what they needed to come to the US and further their career. And so I want to tell you a little story about somebody I met in an Uber. He was an Uber driver. And I was in Arizona and I was talking with him, and he was telling me how challenging his life was. He was an Uber driver. He had to drive 16 hours a day. And I started asking questions about that and about his education, and came to find out that he had a master's degree and a PhD from Africa. And so we were able to explain that we could help out with that. We could take those degrees that he had and we could show their value in the US. And then he could go on and become something more if he wanted to be, if he wanted to do something more than be an Uber driver. So this is a very valuable service. As Seth has explained, it takes a lot of training. It takes a lot of databases on our part that we've accumulated for decades to be able to do this. And this is what the only thing we do. We make sure that this is done right for you so you have opportunity.
Okay, can I ask you a couple questions?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In the evaluation report, this is for an actual student, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next report was for a high school student, you said, that is side by side, right?
This was for the first one, the document by document was more for like a permanent visa. So
Okay.
they were coming over here less to study, but to stay forever. The second one, the course by course, was more for entrance into graduate level studies.
Oh, okay. Can we see the next slide then? Yeah. Okay, the evaluation report. This is what I'm more used to. So what I wanted to ask you is, how do students, can you explain how students can send their information and how long it takes? Just some of those kind of practical kind of
Right.
housekeeping.
Yeah, those are great questions. And also, if it is in another language, if it's not in English, we can translate it for you. And so the way to apply is you would go to our website, fis-web.com. And I think there's a slide coming up here about how to apply. And you would click on individuals and you would fill out the information. And yes, here we are. It shows get started. And you put in your name. You put in a little bit of information. If you're sending it to a school, if you want it to go to a school, you would let us know. There's a place to put a note in there, and we would send it for free. We don't charge extra if you put that into the application. At this point, we would email it to the school, and you would upload your document. So your document can be a phone image. You can take a phone picture of your diploma from high school or your grades, and we can evaluate that. If we have questions, we'll let you know, but we can look at that and we can tell you what that means in the US. And the cost is very reasonable. And this was something when I was talking with the Uber driver, he had no idea. For about $100, we could make that happen. And that's the starting rate, is at $100. It obviously, if we have to translate it, it would cost more. Or if we had to transfer the credits from saying that was this in Malaysia to this in the US, then that would cost more. But it starts out very at a reasonable cost at $100. And so you upload that, and in about 2 weeks, you would have your result, and then you would know what you would have attained in the US, the equivalent.
Awesome. So you said it's about 2 weeks.
We have multiple options. We have same day service for document by document. The fastest for course by course is 1 week, but for course by course, you can go as long as like a month, and for document by document, you can go up to 2 weeks. But anywhere from same day to a month is basically the turnaround times.
And I assume that, if you're doing that same day, it costs more. I'm assuming.
It does cost more, but that's part of the service.
Yeah,
that's right.
awesome.
Rush service is available, and you want to make sure that the service you are using has that option for you. So yeah.
Can I ask you, what are some of the challenges that you find that your students are, with transcript evaluation? Are there any issues that students come up with?
Yeah. One thing that you really want to be sure to check with the school or check with the admissions advisor. You want to make sure that you've got the right document requirements, because some schools require you to send original documents into FIS so we can evaluate those. But some schools are fine with a photocopy or just a regular image. So that can be frustrating for everyone, because we want to get it right the first time. So sometimes people they just choose the wrong option, and so that can be frustrating. And another frustrating thing can be really old credentials. We see less and less of them, but we still see like Soviet era documents, and those can be really frustrating to figure out, because translations can be different. You've got to really dig into some really old, like from, let's say, I don't know. The oldest one I've seen is probably one from like 1966. And so Soviet Russia in that time, they weren't very open. So it was really hard to find any information at all on the school. Eventually I figured it out, but those can be some of the frustrations. I would say another frustration can be that a lot of schools will offer like online transcripts and things, but those aren't considered official, so we can't really evaluate those. They don't have a signature. They don't even have a digital signature, so that can be a challenge, and that will end up having a lot of back and forth, and that can lead to frustration for everybody.
As I recall, I remember we really required the original copy issue. So, but the trend right now for the last like 2-3 years, is it more just take a picture and send it in? That's okay.
Yeah, it's been the trend for probably about a decade, really, at least. Now there are like online portals through the school that we can actually verify documents through. I see a lot with let's say like Brazil. They have a lot of their schools offer online portals so they can verify the documents through. So a lot of schools are going that way too, or they'll be able to send the document with a digital signature in an email or through like an online transfer service. So we're seeing a lot more of that too, which is nice, because that really cuts down on the time that it takes to have the document submitted and time it takes for you to get the evaluation back.
So after you're done with the evaluation, the student has a choice to just request that you email it to the school, or how do they end up, and then you notify them and they get a copy also?
Yeah, so we can submit it a couple different ways. We can submit it via email. That just kind of depends on the university's requirements. Sometimes we can send a hard copy in, and we're working on a service where you can actually, I believe, extract it from our website. That's in the future, but it's not right now. But that's something that we're working on, because a lot of schools are allowing some of the digital submissions, but what they want is they want to be able to 100% like guarantee that it is like an official evaluation and that it's not something that's been doctored.
Yeah. And so what's the timing for high school students? What do you think that timing is? Is it right when they're ready to apply, or should they be reaching out to you sooner?
I think with any sort of academic endeavor, you want to plan as far ahead in advance as possible. It's really hard to do anything last minute. We've done it. That's why we offer same-day service, but that's not really the way to go. You want to plan months and months in advance. I see a lot of people, probably in the next like 2-3 months is when I'm going to see a lot of sort of freshman admissions, people coming from abroad wanting to apply to school in the U.S. And they're all doing that like right now. So now is the time really to get on it.
Well, as I recall in higher ed, also you have a transcript and then you want the final grades. So do you have it like is it segmented so that they can send in the final grades and you still are evaluating, or how does that work?
So a lot of times what we'll see is in maybe like January, February, one of the things that we'll see is people, they haven't finished yet and they're letting us know they haven't finished, but they're expected to finish in June. So you can sort of do sort of like a pre-admissions kind of workup where basically we're evaluating everything through like 11.5, 11 and a half years or 11 and a half grade. I don't know how to say that. But eventually we would say, in the report, it would say, and upon graduation, presumably in June 2021 for this year, let's say, they will have the equivalent of graduation from high school. We can calculate the grades up to that point. And so that sort of gives you pre-clearance for some admissions, and they can conditionally accept you. And then you get your final grades, we update the report, and then we send it off. And not a lot's going to change between 11.5 and 12. So
yeah, that's awesome. Hi, Zilly. Thank you for, if you have any questions, students, please, if you have any questions, put it in the chat. We know this is a lot of information and it's something maybe that you're not used to. Also, if you are working and you are applying for jobs, you might want to have your, your transcript evaluated, right?
Exactly.
yeah.
Right. And Mim, one other thing I wanted to talk a little bit more about NACEs. So you saw at the on almost every one of those screens that we were showing, it said NACES, and that stands for National Association of Credential Evaluation Services. And you want to make sure that the evaluation service that you use belongs to something like NACES, because NACES is referred to by U.S. Department of State and U.S. Department of Education. So the people who use FIS and the students who use FIS and the admissions officers who use FIS, they have peace of mind that they're using a company that is referred to as part of NACES. So that's a really key part.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask too, okay, so you've talked about the course evaluations. Can you just address the translation part?
Yes, so we have translation for almost every language into English. So if somebody has, say, they have a website or a LinkedIn or profile and something that they want to have translated and they don't want Google Translate to do it because Google Translate doesn't really have all the terms. And we really like having translators because that way, if you have a degree that's being translated, it actually will use the word degree, the correct term, in the translated copy. So you're not going to end up with something that's that doesn't really match. So translation is also a really good thing. And you only have one upload. You don't have to send it out to a translation service and then have it come back and then go to your credential evaluation service. So that's why we offer that.
Is that an extra cost?
Yes, it is an extra cost. Mm-hmm. And reasonable, because we want to make sure that you get it done and get it done right.
So how many languages? Is it like?
Oh, yeah, almost all languages. I mean, there are some that only say 10 people speak in the US or in the world that we wouldn't be able to translate out of that, but almost every language. Mm-hmm. So we offer that.
And what countries do you see, that you're doing the credit evaluations for? What countries are you seeing right now? Or is it like just, 80 countries? I'm asking just kind of like.
Yeah. Steph, do you want to answer that since you're seeing them all the
time? It's from all over the world. It's we see a lot from specific countries like say China or India. We see a lot from South Korea, a lot from Brazil. But it's really all over, and that's part of the fun part of the job is like sort of you get to learn about pretty much every country. So it's kind of a quick little brief on everything around the world. You learn about a lot of stuff that you never thought you would learn about, like different weird conflicts, that kind of stuff. So that's part of the fun of the job is the variety. And I'm looking at we have like an evaluation database, and I'm going to try and count them, but that's like it's way over 100. So it's everybody pretty much.
So for people that are H-1B trying to get that, and that's required, does the company help them, or is there a timing on that too? How does that work?
Yeah, the company's generally going to help. They're generally the person that has to file the entity that has to file the petition. I don't see very many H-1B people that are independent because generally you've got to be a bigger company because it's a pretty expensive process. So yeah, we work in all fields of immigration, whether it's like religious visas, permanent visas, for education. We're all over the map on immigration.
Absolutely. We help out with many different visa types and almost all of them. So we're here to evaluate the education and experience. So we can also look at experience that might come under an expert opinion that maybe a little bit outside of what we want to talk about if you're talking mostly to students, but we do also offer expert opinions to help people come to the country for H-1Bs. And we have seen people file on their own. We've had a few more people do that than we've seen in the past. So people are getting savvier and they use our services.
Do you at all, or do you have you have an app that, or is it, or just go to the website?
It's a website. It's yeah, that's the easiest way to do it, is to just get on the website and upload the documents there. So it's pretty quick. We don't ask for a lot at that point. And to continue the process after they upload their documents, we would collect payment, and payment can be in the form of a credit card, so they can pay by credit card and get started. It's pretty simple. And we've done this for so many years, and we have a Google rating of 4.9 out of 5 stars. So we've really earned it. We've helped so many people, and we'd love to help more of your students.
Hi, Ken. Yes, thank you for joining. And yes, this will be recorded, and you can watch it, and it will be on our Facebook page. And so, yes, definitely, you can watch it. Thank you. Hi, Cindy. Nice to meet you. If you have questions, Vincent, thank you so much. Let's go back to students. Okay, so what would you suggest? Do you have any tips for students? The best way for evaluation, the best, how to prepare?
I would say first you really want to just get together with the admissions advisor and make sure that you've got everything working. You don't want to. It's bureaucracy, so you've got to make sure you've got all your I's dotted, all your T's crossed in order to actually get into school. So you want to make sure that you're with your advisor early on to make sure that you've got everything ready to go. Because I see too many times, I've seen enough that it's too bad where people don't quite have everything, and so they end up having to like wait an extra year or an extra term, and that's just not fun. So you just want to make sure that you're getting everything right from the get-go.
Okay, so what are some of the things, again, remind the students, because some have just come on, you know, so remind the students, what do they actually need?
We need your documents. You kind of just need to, you need to check with the admissions advisor and make sure that where you're applying, do they need you to send originals in? Are they fine with a photocopy or a copy or just a regular phone image? Do they want hard copies sent to them? Yeah, you just really want to make sure that you're well prepared.
Do you work with universities all around the United States?
Yes.
Yeah.
We do. We have a number of them that are clients that that they send in the documents, and then a number of them that just refer the student to us, and the student would send in the documents. So, but we work with lots of colleges, universities. Our evaluations have been accepted all around. And yeah, so it really is something that we're here for the student to help them. And we do work with the admissions officers if there are questions.
And then one of my last questions is, I understand for the high school students, the grad students, this is really important, right? Because if you've studied students in another country and you have your degree, your undergrad degree, right, your bachelor's, you get that evaluated. Because to apply to your master's, get it done, right? And send it in. You can also, can't they show the different masters, like the admissions people in the universities, you know, their transcripts, so they can see that if it's evaluated, then you know they can go, oh yes, you know, we can see that you you qualify, or you, right? It's easier evaluation.
Absolutely, you're a step ahead of the game if you get that done. That's a very good point. definitely the way to go.
Are any of you grad students? So if you're grad students, make sure that you touch base with FIS, and they'll talk to you. Do you have advisors?
Well, they can email me if they have questions, and I can help make sure that they get to the right person. So I'm here for you. I'm a strategic accounts manager, and I'm helping MIM and anybody you send our way. I would love to talk with them. So
You're our person. And
yeah, that's my job. Yes, thank you. I see you put my email address up there.
awesome. Okay, and there it is again. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any last final words? Because we kept it short, students, so that you can go back and listen to this again, and it explains the process. And so, any last words?
Yes, so we're here to help evaluate your education and experience and show what it means in the US so you can get more opportunity. And we are a NACCES member, which is a key thing. You want to look for that. And that means we're referred to by US Department of State, Department of Education. And we have a 4.7 out of 5 Google rating. And we're here for you. So thank you so much. It was wonderful to be with you all.
Wait a second. We do have a question. Do you mind answering it?
Yeah, of course.
Hi, Ananta. Hello. Ananta says, hello, I am from Nepal. I did a Bachelor of Technology in Mechanical Engineering from India. Wow. Okay. I want to pursue Master's of Science in the same field. Would he need to have his, his transcript evaluated?
It depends on where the school he's going to. Just want to make sure that that's correct. For the type of documents you need to send the original. Our photocopy is fine. I can tell you right off the bat that if you finish the program, it's equivalent to a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. So that's a start. Depending on your grades, should be able to get into the US.
So we want to tell you too, Ananta, thank you for coming on. So you can go to our Study USA. We have a ton of schools that you can look at and then check them out. There are quite a few schools that offer Masters of Science in Mechanical Engineering. So I would check out our Study USA site, and then also reach out to Jeanette, right? See the email there, jtutor@fis/wev.com. Reach out to Jeanette and ask the question, and she'll let you know if you have your transcript evaluated.
Yeah.
Did I answer it? Yeah.
Congratulations on getting having your bachelor's done, and good luck with your career. We'd love to help.
Yeah. So anybody else have questions? Let's just wait another 5 seconds or 10 seconds and see. I think this is like invaluable. So I just really want to say thank you for coming on today, taking the time, and reach out. If you want to reach out to Study in the USA, we will, get you the information for Jeanette also. Oh, here's another one. Okay, here we go. All right. Yay, I'm glad you have questions. Hello, I am from Bangladesh. I want to study CPA in the USA. So I have to take admission in MSc in accounting. So do you have an accounting degree?
So yeah, I think the Bachelor of Science in Accounting is equivalent to 3 years of university level credit. So I think in order to study the CPA in the US, you would need to finish your master's in accounting.
Yeah, and it takes a while to study for it. So you might want to reach out again to FIS to find out if you need to have your transcript evaluated. Okay. Okay, Ananta, I'll try to explain. Okay, so today it's on credential evaluation, but let me try to answer this. 7.89 CGPA, great during my bachelor's. May I get the scholarship during master's? So for master's degrees, a lot of times you would have to reach out to the different schools and departments. And so if you find a school, you can ask for the scholarship. And then there's scholarships outside of the universities. But you can ask that question, and you also can try to apply for assistantships, and they might be able to talk to you about that. So I would talk to an admissions advisor. In the United States, it's just a little bit different because you usually have to go to the different departments and ask the question for your specific degree. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. And also, then Ananta again, contact FIS, like you said. Whoa, what do we have here? You see that, Jeanette?
Mhm.
Okay, we are not offering Masters in Supply Management, but go to studyusa.com. We have a plethora of schools that offer supply chain management and masters. And if you want to talk to us later, you can reach out. I think we have contact information, but you can reach out and we'll try to answer. Well, all you need to do, Hug, is just say, okay, I asked this question during this Facebook Live session, and I'll look for your question, okay, and try to answer you. Are you eligible for scholarship? Depends. Like I said, like I just answered Ananta, it really depends on your on the school that you're going to. Many of them have scholarships, and so I would just check with this. Okay, here we go. Any other ones? This is great asking. Thank you.
Well, it's really exciting to see everybody wanting to further their education, and we're here to help you. So thanks, and it was great to meet you all, and look forward to talking with you later.
Yes, so reach out to Jeanette, and you've got the email, and we hope that you will contact them and look at studyusa.com and reach out to us too, okay? All right, so are you offering Masters in Fashion Marketing? If I were you, I would.
US.
We do, there are many US schools that offer that. And so what I would do is go on again to our site, Study USA, look at some of the universities and reach out to them. Okay. So hope to talk to you soon and fill out the inquiry form and we'll try to get back with you. Okay. Go to studyusa.com. All right.
Thank you. Thanks, ma'am.
Have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.